1 second. Miss Medina. Okay. Fine. Elio, are you in here? You're going home. All right. So if you were not here on Friday, make sure that you do watch the lesson and at least a few examples. I'm not saying you have to watch the whole entire video, but it is there if you would like to watch it again. But according to PEMDAS, in number 1, I did hear a few mixed answers. What operation are we doing first in this one? We are doing multiplication first. So you should have seen there is no parentheses, there is no exponents, and multiplication or division from left to right. So sometimes you might be doing division first. It just depends on the order from when you're reading it from left to right. So since the way I read is like a book, left to right, you have multiplication first. So what is negative 5 times 4? Negative 20. And then bring everything else down. All right, and then what operation is next? Division. So negative 20 divided by 2 is negative 10, and then bring everything else down. So now we have just one operation left. 17 minus 10 is 7. All right, any questions, disagreements? If you made a mistake, all you have to do is correct it. Not a big deal, mistakes are how you learn. All right, in number 2, what operation are we doing first?
Division.
Well, let's go through the steps. Is there any parentheses or grouping symbols?
No.
Are there any exponents? No. Is there any multiplication or division?
No.
Now, which one am I doing first in this problem? It's actually division, because when I scan the symbols from left to right, I run into the division first. All right, it's not always multiplication before division. If your teacher taught you that before, they are wrong. All right, it depends on which one comes first from left to right. They're in the same step. So this time we're dividing this out first. What's negative 32 divided by 8? Negative 4, and then bring everything else down. All right, now what's next? So I have a 5 times a -2, what's that? Negative 10, then bring everything else down. And then we finished the multiplication division. Now we're on addition or subtraction from left to right. All right, so what is 40 minus 4? And then 36 minus 10 is, all right, questions, disagreements? That makes sense? Okay, number 3, what operation do we have to do first? Exponent. So there was no parentheses, but there is an exponent here. What is 8 squared? 64, and it's a positive 64, so I'm going to put plus 64. And then bring everything else down. I know sometimes you guys like to do things in the same step, but if you just avoid it and take the time to write down all the steps individually, you'll avoid mistakes that way. All right, what's next now? Good. What's negative 14 divided by 2? Good. Bring everything else down. Now, in PEMDAS, A comes before S. So does that mean I need to add first? No, because they're in the same step. All right, so go from left to right. So 35 minus 7 is 28. And then plus 64 is 92. All right, I'm not a math in my head type of person, but I remember from earlier. It's fine. All right, questions, comments? All right, one more. Number 4, what's the first thing that we are doing? Parentheses. So that means inside the parentheses is what we're focused on. What's 4 minus 7? -3, good. And then bring everything else down. All right, once you've simplified what's inside the parentheses can go away. So once you have it down to just one number, they can go away. Normally, like if it's next to another number, it'll be like multiplication, something like that. But if you want to erase it and put a symbol, that's fine. Now what's next? Exponents. So what is -3 squared? Positive or negative? Could be positive. Right? Because that little 2 is telling me to do -3 times -3. And then remember we counted the negative signs when we multiply. If we have an even number of negative signs, my answer is positive. All right, so it is a positive 9. So fix that. If you put that, it should be positive. Now what's next? All right, so -6 times 7 is -42. And then bring everything else down. Sorry if you're in the back, you can't see. But left to right, you add or subtract. So from the left, what's 9 minus 42? Sorry. 9 minus 42 is -33, and then -33 plus 20 is -13. Sorry, I ran out of room. But the final answer should be -13. Any questions? Disagreements? Sorry, they're loud in the hallway today. All right, so are we good on order of operations? Because we're going to move on to something else. So if you're not good, if you disagree, not sure why we did something weird, let me know. Yes? So there's the exponent on the 9 or on the -3, and should give me a positive. So the exponent tells you to do -3 times -3, right? So a negative and a negative is a positive. And you have it. Anyone can fix that. All right, any other questions? All right then. So now, a couple announcements. Today, our objective is still to prepare for topic 1 by reviewing previously learned stuff. So we covered a few of those success criteria on Friday. We talked about different types of numbers, operations with integers, and absolute value. Today, we will probably only get through one-step equations because it's a short day. All right, so the rest of this lesson, we'll have to spill into tomorrow, which is fine. We were scheduled to start topic 1 tomorrow, but we might have to push everything back a day, so stay tuned. Sorry, some of my other classes didn't finish writing the notes for this. If you were absent Friday, here's that video I talked to you about. You just click on it, and it'll take you right there. I am recording now and I will upload it later, but just to prove to you, you know, this is what we did Friday, no? All right, you can fast forward it, you can look at some of the examples. All right, it's all in there in case you're ever absent. Pause this and go back. All right, so there you go. Also, since we're doing 3 days of topic readiness, I do have 3 little assignments for you. All right, they're little. You can probably get them through them all in one day. They're not super difficult. If you think what we've been doing in here has been easy, then these should be a piece of cake. All right. Whether you do them all tomorrow, whether you kind of work on it one day at a time, that's fine. Just remember the grading period, everything's due September 3rd. Question? That's perfectly fine. I saw like 2 kids did the first one. Good for you. All right. But the first one for the day 1 is a Google form. So here's the link for it. The link is also in the assignment in Schoology. For Google Forms, I only give you 1 attempt because I show you the answers immediately after, so you shouldn't need 2 attempts. And I do check for like guessing. So if you're just clicking through, picking answers, I'm not going to give you full credit for that. So there's no reason you should get a 0 out of 15 on that. All right, I'll dock you points for guessing if that's the case. These other 2 are puzzle pieces. Those are in Schoology. You do get, and they're graded on accuracy. So you do get 2 attempts automatically. And if you need more attempts, because these ones will be graded for accuracy, I can give you more, but I do check to see how long you spent on that assignment to see if you're just guessing or not. So if you spent like 40 seconds on that assignment, no, I'm not going to give you extra attempts. Make sense? All right. So, you know, ask me for extra attempts if you need them, but don't just guess and think I'm going to give it to you. We already talked about the syllabus. I'm going to send out reminders today for those that still haven't turned it in. These are some tentative dates for the quizzes that are this week. They might be pushed back a day, so stay tuned. But for right now, be prepared. We'll have a small quiz Wednesday and on Friday. And then those are later this month for the topic 1. Questions? All right, so now have this paper in front of you, the one you picked up on the back table. You'll have to hang on to it because we will not get through this all today. On the back table, and you forgot to pick it up. All right, and it has 3 holes for a reason. I expect you to put it in your binder so that you do not lose it when it's time for the binder truck. All right, I need all the side conversations to stop. I keep hearing little tiny voices. Stop talking. All right. First thing I need you to know for these 1-step equations are something called inverse operations. So you can fill that in your margin. All right, in order to effectively solve these, you need to know what inverse operations are. And what I mean by that is say like if I asked you to tell me what the opposite of addition is, what would you tell me? And then the opposite of subtraction would be, that's why I wrote it like that with the double arrow. You can go either direction. What if I asked you what the opposite of multiplication is? And then vice versa. All right, the reason why those are important is because when you're solving these 1-step or 2-step equations, you are using inverse operations to undo what is being done. So all of these have a variable in them. So your variable is your letter, your unknown. And in order to solve for that value, you have to undo what's being done. So like what's being done to the m is number 1. What's currently being done to it? Adding 12, I did hear it. Question or answer?
Answer. You got an M.
But what is being done to the M?
It's getting added to 12.
It's getting added to the 12. So if I wanted to get the M by itself, what's the opposite of adding 12? Subtracting 12. Question? Okay, don't hang on to it in your head. All right, so we're gonna subtract 12 because that's how we get the M by itself. But it's a rule that no matter what you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do it to the other side. So here's my equal sign. I subtracted 12 on this side. I need to subtract 12 on this other side. So on the left, what is 12 minus 12? 0. So that cancels out, which is what we wanted. We wanted the M by itself. On the right side, what is 10 minus 12? -2. All right, you are finished when you have the variable by itself. Are we finished? Yes, the variable is now by itself. So we can be done with that one. All right, is that the answer you got over there? All right, good. Questions? All right, now look at number 3. So skip 2 and 4 for a second. Look at number 3. What is being done to the variable? What's being done to the y? Good. When you have a number pressed up against the letter, that implies multiplication. So opposite of multiplication would be good. I'll write it like this because a fraction bar means division. And we're going to divide by -7. Whatever you do on one side, you have to do to the other side. So on the left side, what's -7 divided by -7? Is it 0?
-1. -1.
Should just be a positive one, right? Because -7 divided by -7. Notice I drew a little 1 when I did that. Right? 1 times y is just y. So that's how we get that -7 to go away. Make sense? On the right side, you need to simplify that. So what's -91 divided by -7? Positive or negative? Positive. So just like yesterday when we did, not yesterday, Friday when we counted the negative signs, you do the same for division too. So an even number of negative signs, you get a positive in your answer. Questions? Now, I want you guys to try 2 and 4 on your paper, even though we didn't talk about subtraction or division. Just try them out. Use your inverse operations to undo what's being done. 2 and 4 on your paper. Questions? 1 times y is.
Oh.
That's it. All right, so try 2 and 4 on your paper for a second. 2 and 1. So it looks like everyone tried 2. What did you get for that final answer? Positive or negative?
Oh.
Okay, so let's see. Opposite of subtracting 9 is, and do that to both sides.
I did it with negative.
But did you get the same answer? So did you move it over here and then move it again?
Yeah.
Okay, so you did an extra step. That's all right. But 1 step is all you need to do. Yes?
I did not.
Because opposite of subtracting 9 is, you guys laugh, but it's like, you guys make the same mistakes on your test, and I see it all the time. All right? There's no such thing as a dumb question. I'm sure someone else has the same one. All right, what's -2 plus 9? +7. And over here, the 9's cancel. So yes, you guys are correct. All right, I didn't see a lot of people trying number 4. All right, which is not good. You guys need to try. But what is being done to the variable right now? What's being done to the A? It's being divided by 9. What's opposite of that? Multiplying by 9. So multiply it by 9 on each side. Over here it cancels because basically it's 9/1 and then you cross simplify, right? Then you have A/1, which is just A. On the right side, what's -4 times 9? -36. All right, so it's easy. Questions? All right, so real quick, fractions usually trip up students, so let's review fractions. If I wanted to undo a fraction or get rid of it, what am I multiplying it by? The reciprocal, good. What is a reciprocal? Like, what am I doing to the fraction basically? Flipping it. So if it's 2/3, the reciprocal is 3/2 or 3/2. All right, I think that's all we'll have time for today. Don't lose your paper, put it in your binder because we're going to finish it tomorrow.